We are so excited for you guys joining us. I am Jennifer Stalin.
And I'm Brooke Mangum.
And today we are talking about skincare, which is so important because I feel like your skin changes so much as you age.
Understatement of the century. I'm over here inching my way very close to 40, and I'm over here trying to repent for all of my sins in my teens and 20s.
I know. I'm seeing sunspots. I'm seeing different kind of acne that I've never experienced after turning into my 30s. And it's so fascinating. We have Kelly Brown on, who explains why your skin changes as you age, but also your skin here in Utah. We are at a higher altitude and it is different. I'm from Florida,
baby, burn.
Like where we had humidity. Here, no. Absolutely not.
We're dry, and then we're outside a bunch, right? Mm-hmm. Because we've got the mountains here. We're always constantly getting sun. And I don't know, like for me, my skin type now, I tell people I'm like wrinkles and acne. Welcome to this party.
I don't see anything on your face. You look fantastic.
It's there. Well, it's skincare. It's skincare, Jen. And that's what we're learning about today.
Well, I think I heard it from you. Skincare is something that you put on your face every single day.
Even
twice a day. And so that's why it's important to pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Invest in that.
Absolutely. And Kelly Brown is here with us from Corrective Skin to give us some more tips and just explain a little bit more about the changes that are happening as you age. Kelly, I am so excited to talk to you because skincare is so prevalent nowadays, and just learning about how your skin reacts to different things, and especially when it comes to getting a little bit older, our skin changes from our 20s to our 30s to our 40s. So talk to me about some of the things that you'll notice as your skin changes.
Yes, absolutely. As you get a little bit older, you're like, what's happening right there? Ooh. So in your 20s, your skin's still full of bounce, full of hydration. It knows how to repair, how to rebuild. And so once you hit 30, and everyone's a little bit different, obviously, but typically by like 35, you're going to start to notice lines that stay. They don't go away after you smile. They're staying, and your skin may seem a little bit drier, or your elasticity, which is the firmness of your skin, may not seem quite as tight and things like that. You might be like, oh, my neck, or, you just start to notice that. There's a lot of reasons why that is, and we'll get into that, but it's really important too. You and I live in Salt Lake City, where it's a dry climate. We're at a high altitude, and so you do age faster in a dry climate, and so you definitely want to be aware of that and be repairing your skin through the decades so that your skin doesn't age as fast in a dry climate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but in your 30s, you lose growth factors, so we want to be replacing those because that's what helps our skin produce collagen, produce hyaluronic acid. And when that set of instructions leaves, our skin just doesn't know what to do anymore. So it becomes lazy.
Elaborate more on what happens when your skin becomes lazy and your collagen production does start to slow down.
Yeah. So, I think a lot of people know you can take certain types of collagen internally, and that helps. But also you want to be using skincare topically that's going to help. And what helps with that are products that have growth factors and signaling peptides. So we have that in our skincare line at Corrective Skin because it's really important. Growth factors are basically long chain amino acid peptides that put protein back into your skin. Protein is the building block of your skin cells. It's what gives your skin structure. So if you put that back in, then your skin, in theory, will age a little bit slower because it'll have that structure to it. It'll be repairing, rebuilding all the time like when it was younger. So you definitely want to be doing that because then your skin will stay hydrated, resilient through time.
What does that look and feel like when you're starting to lose that collagen production and that protein?
Yeah, you just start to notice, and even on other parts of your body, like the skin looks a little bit crepier or thinner, kind of hangs a little bit off the structure of your bone, instead of being plump and full and bouncy.
Well, and I want to talk about too the changes that you can't necessarily feel or see externally, but hormonal imbalances, especially as you age. Yep. How does that affect your skin? Because I know I'm experiencing breakouts in my 30s, and I'm like, I didn't have these before.
I know. It's kind of a crux, right? Because you're like, I'm not a teenager, and also now I'm dealing with aging issues, so it's a rough one. But yeah, so basically when you're in your mid-30s, heading into your 40s, and you're not quite premenopausal then, but your body it's evolving and your hormones are changing. And so hormone imbalances are really common, especially if you're like having babies or any of that, or even if you're not. But too much estrogen can mean that your skin will produce more pigmentation. And then when you're in the sun, it might get triggered. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, I have all this pigmentation. Where did it come from? So that can be a problem with hormones, but also the breakouts like you're talking about. And women often find that when they're having hormonal breakouts, that shows up in the chin and jawline area. And so that's the part of the face where hormonal fluctuations will, trigger a reaction. And so you're dealing with that. And then, lack of or excess hormones can make your skin feel a little bit imbalanced. Like you might be a little too oily or a little too dry, and, it can affect other things like your hair and obviously your mood and all of that, So it's a whole thing. But, if I see people in my clinic where I feel like there's definitely like a big hormonal shift, I recommend that they go see like an endocrinologist or something like that to help balance their hormones, because that, will help a lot. And skincare can definitely help. But if there's like a huge hormonal imbalance, you probably want both, someone that knows hormone replacement therapy really well and can help you with that, and good skincare, So skincare that will help with that hormonal issue is things like ascorbic acid, because that will help protect your skin when you're in the sun from accumulating too much pigmentation. You always want to be wearing a sunscreen that's a 30 SPF or more every day, even if you're just driving to work every day, like especially again, living here, we're at a high altitude, that sun is coming in your car window and that pigmentation will be triggered. And what's interesting is when you're younger and you're in your 20s and you're not thinking about aging, that's when you're getting all that pigmentation that you don't see. And then it's later that it comes out and it's visible. And it's like, well, I always have to tell people, I'm sorry, but guess what? This has been happening for a long time. You just didn't see it. And now it's here. And the cells do have a memory. And so we can correct things with good products, glycolic acid, vitamin C, the growth factors, good peptides, and correct that pigmentation. But you do have to be really careful once you have it to protect yourself in the sun and things like that. Otherwise, because the cells have a memory, it'll just come right back.
Well, and that's so fascinating. I've never heard that cells have a memory.
They do.
But I love learning that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They remember the damage they've had. So
never the good things.
Right. Yes. But yeah, they remember the damage they've had. So what's interesting about, like one of our products, for example, the epidermal growth factor cream, it is growth factors, signaling peptides. And so it communicates with your skin at a cellular level and reminds it what it was like before the damage and before, the trauma of like sun damage or aging in general, and helps it to think young again, basically, and repair and renew like it did when it was younger, which is really amazing that, there's that science that we have for skincare.
Yes, I want you to dive deep into that science and explain to us, because I don't want anyone to be fearful of, their 30s and 40s and thinking that your skin is over, because you guys have come up with solutions and science-backed solutions.
Yeah.
So talk to me more about that, like how we can repair our skin and how, we can even fix that pigmentation.
Yeah. And, we've had our products, we've been around for 30 years. So I'm 48 now, and I've been using these peptides and growth factors.
You literally look like you're 21, so it's working.
And when I look at my mom, who first formulated our product, she's 74. Her skin is amazing. And I know it's because we've been consistent about these certain ingredients, So basically, yeah, don't be afraid of aging. It's going to happen, but there's things you can do along the way, right? So yeah, know that in your 30s, you're going to lose growth factors. And so you need to replace those growth factors with a product that has them. So what you want to look for is like epidermal growth factors. That's one thing. Signaling peptides. Some of those are like palmitoyl tripeptide. If you just Google signaling peptides, it'll give you a whole list. There's hundreds of peptides. So even I, as an esthetician for 25 years, don't remember all the names, right? But you want signaling peptides. Those are the ones that will make the biggest difference topically. GHKCU is a good one, a copper peptide. Now it's really popular to be injecting peptides. You can inject that one too. Seems to be a safe thing. I've been doing it. It's really awesome. So there's a lot of things that you can do along the way as you're aging to just like slow it down topically and internally. It's just about being aware and then being consistent and doing it, And on our website, correctiveskin.com, we're all about education. So it's like, go there, learn. We try to teach you these things, and also like on our social platforms, and we're always always here to help people. So like if somebody hears this and they're like, wait, I need to know more, I'm not understanding all the way, like please reach out to us, because that is one of my most favorite things, is educating people about what to do, how to do it, even if it's not my brand, but just in general, you know? So yeah.
Well, and I think too, with the education side of it, can you come in and figure out what you might need? Because everybody's different. So just learning about what you need, but then also too, you don't want to clog your skin with a whole bunch of stuff. So what are kind of like a generalized safe regimen of like adding these new peptides and retinols and things into your skin?
Yeah. Well, I'll give two answers to that. One is we have, perfected that with our starter bundle on our website, because we gear everything toward women over 35 dealing with hormonal breakouts, pigmentation, and we like to call ourselves desert proven. We're dealing with desert climate skin here in Salt Lake City. And just because it's desert proven doesn't mean you can't use it if you live in Florida. Right. It really means that if it can work in the desert, it can work anywhere. And so with that bundle, we've really made sure, and all of our products in general, we have other products we're still rebranding and we haven't brought out again, but that they're clean, they're not toxic, they're not going to break you out. So you can feel safe using them morning and night to help repair, prevent, correct skin issues and not have issues with like breaking out or sensitivity, things like that. We've been using them in our clinic for 30 years. So they're definitely time-tested formulations. So we know what they do. We know they're very predictable for us. And so, but if people have other products they want to incorporate with it, that's totally fine. We definitely instruct how to do that, so that you can use a retinol with the regimen we have or other things you may have. And then we teach you, we have tools like on our website, we have a pore clogging checker. We always ask if there's things you don't use that aren't ours, that you copy and paste that label from anything else, sunscreen, makeup, whatever it may be, input it into that. It's just on our homepage on our website, which again is correctiveskin.com. You just put it in there. It's a really cool tool. And then it'll just tell you if this is clean or not. And if it's not, it'll tell you which ingredients are not clean. And then you can know like, hey, I don't want to get that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's so important because there's so many things that we think are clean and good, but also what you see on social media can also be so conflicting nowadays.
Yeah.
So talk me through, in your shoes, what social media trends around skincare are you liking right now? What do you not like? There are a lot of opinions out there.
Yeah, for sure. And we've always been on the side of we like well-researched ingredients, things that we know work, because even if they've been around for a long time, the fact is they work, right? So some of the trends I'm not the biggest fan of is like the DIY. And that is because I've just seen a lot of people really damage their skin. So I think it's cool that there's, home microneedling sets and those little stamper sets and all of that. But at the same time, there's a lot of different types of personalities out there. And some people can't like stop touching their face or picking their face, and then they just destroy their face. And then as their esthetician, they're like, but there was this thing and I bought it, and everyone uses it all the time on TikTok every day, and they get really red and bloody and it looks like their skin's doing so well. But that's just not for everybody. Some people can be aggressive like that and some people can't. And so I would say the DIY, because sometimes people are just doing stuff they should not be doing for their skin type and causing a little bit more damage, because anytime you cause trauma to your skin, it's going to have a response. And for some people that might be more pigmentation, or maybe they break out more, so then it sets them back instead of helping them move forward. So that's probably one of my biggest, pet peeves with trendy stuff. But one of my other ones is probably, just false marketing, a lot of over promising. Peptides, what I find interesting, and I love peptides. We've been using peptides since day one. We've been around for 30 years. So it's kind of funny because people are always like, oh, do you have and I'm like, yes, we've had them in there since day one. Same with plant stem cells, apple stem cells, same with growth factors. So it's really cool that to look back and be like, wow, my mom who started our product line was so innovative for her time. And I love that, because now it's like you can't stop hearing about it and it's all the hype. But as long as they're signaling peptides, those are good skincare peptides. There's other peptides for skincare that are more on the lane of neurotransmitter peptides. And so those are more like, they'll help things on the surface while you're using the product, like hexapeptide's one of them. If they're paired with another peptide that's like a signaling peptide, that's okay. But a lot of those peptides are like kind of a superficial Band-Aid, more for marketing to say there's peptides in there, It's good and bad.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to ask your thoughts, like what's the difference between real clinically backed peptides versus like the marketing hype?
So I would say that, like, it's all about the formulation, and it's hard for people to know that, right? So one thing you can, whoever's listening, if you really want to get into this and be like, I want skincare that has good peptides, just Google signaling peptides for skincare. There's a handful of them out there, and those are the ones you want to look for in skincare. The ones you don't want in skincare for long-term longevity skin health would be like the neurotransmitter peptides, because those only help while you're using them, while that product lasts. It's not like affecting your skin long-term.
Okay.
So whatever you're using that can talk to your skin at a cellular level, which would be the signaling peptides and the growth factors, that will actually help your skin long-term even when you're done using that product. That makes sense. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I'm learning so much. You keep hearing peptides here and there, but specifically breaking them down on which peptide is going to help you for long term or short term. That's really helpful.
And if you can keep using signaling peptides and not just buy a product one time and then be like, there we go, it is really about the consistency, because as we age even faster. So like by the time you're 40, your skin's aging a little faster, and then 50 even faster, 60 even faster. So you want to keep up with those things to maintain your skin.
Okay. And I got to ask, what are some other like clinically proven ingredients, if you're researching peptides, but also some other ingredients that we can focus on when it comes to skincare?
Definitely ascorbic acid.
Okay.
So L-ascorbic in particular, it is the purest form of vitamin C. There's a lot of derivatives now that are like oil-based, and they're okay, but they're not as well researched, and they don't penetrate as quickly, so you're not going to see the same type of result. Niacinamide is a really good one. Glycolic acids are really good still. The key with those is that you just don't want to over-exfoliate, and you want to make sure when you are using those type of exfoliating treatment products that you're also repairing at the same time. So
okay, I want to talk about that, because everyone's like exfoliate, but they never really talk about how you can over exfoliate. So can you dive into how over exfoliating can hurt your skin, but then also what you can do to repair?
Yeah, you definitely want to exfoliate, because as we age, our cell turnover slows down, right? So when that happens, our skin looks more dull because we have more dead skin built up. But if we can increase that cell turnover, and things that will do that are like glycolic acids, So in our regimen, we recommend, and we have a glycolic acid in there, we want you to use it every night. And it's a gentle one, but then we have you put the EGF or the growth factor cream on top of it, and that's the repair aspect, right? So what you don't want to do is like be using a scrub and then take a glycolic and then do that and then not put a repair product on afterward, because then you're just leaving your skin a little bit exposed, especially if you live in a dry climate. It's a little harder here. And then that affects your skin's barrier. And when your barrier is disrupted, that's when you become more reactive to things, more sensitive, maybe more inflamed. Your skin just doesn't look or feel the same. It can look irritated or not responsive, and people are like, what's going on with my skin? Probably your barrier is disrupted, if you've overdone it. So yeah, I mean, especially with anti-aging, it'd be better to repair and hydrate more than it would to be to over exfoliate, honestly. But you want a balance of both, truly, because you need to exfoliate for all those other good ingredients to absorb better, but you just don't want to overdo it. And then you want to be protecting too. You want to wear the sunscreen.
Yes, sunscreen is so important.
It is. And I know a lot of people get freaked out about, but what about all the chemicals? And it's like, now there's so many options that you can get just a pure mineral sunscreen without chemicals. So they're out there. You just have to look for them and then just be consistent about using it, because Utah has the highest rate of skin cancer. Utah, Nevada, and the nation. So it's definitely important.
Oh, yeah. I was 24 and had skin cancer twice.
Really?
So, yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Already been through that journey, and I can tell you now, it's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not fun. I don't like having surgery. I don't like getting stitches.
No, goodness.
So, and even now too, I'm seeing pigmentation in my face with sunspots. And
so you need that vitamin C.
Yep, you do. And so I want to talk to you about why you started the skincare company, and how, because you keep bringing up, you guys have tested it in your clinic over and over for several decades now. And so I want people, tell us your story about how you guys started this company and, your mom's involvement.
Yeah. So when I was a little girl, I was like 10, 11, my mom did hair. And then I remember one day she was like, oh, I'm actually doing skincare, and I'm an esthetician. And I would just like watch her literally whip up formulations like on the fly.
Wow.
Yeah. She was trained in California on how to custom blend formulations. She got really into that. She knew after doing hair that she wanted to make sure that when she had a skincare practice, that she had her own skincare lines. She had control of what was in it. And so it wasn't long after that she realized she got really busy and she was like, I need to actually like package these things up. And from there, she just like met a chemist and started having that chemist help her formulate products. And her first proprietary formulation was the epidermal growth factor cream, which is amazing. I mean, that was like the 80s. Wow. And yeah, she was like so ahead of her time. And so I can just remember her transforming people through the years. It was like super magical to me. And then as I got older, we started working together and she trained me how to be an esthetician as well. And then I started formulating products with her too. And so what I love about our brand story is that the products were never created to be like a brand that we were going to like put out there to the masses, right? It was really for our clients to make sure that they were happy, they were coming back, and they were getting results driven, quality products. And so that happened. And then over the years, you know, clients were just so supportive and so loyal, almost like our little cult following here in Salt Lake City.
Oh, I love that.
And, you know, my mom retired, you know, like 4 years ago. And I remember all of my clients being like, well, what's going to happen when you retire? Like, we can't live without these products. And I was like, I know, right? So I have really stepped back from working on clients and really have just been rebranding and putting the brand out there in the e-commerce world and just getting it out there so that it can survive, so this product can go on, because it really is a legacy product that is amazing and has helped so many people through the years. Like, I've seen generations of families, you know,
wow,
the grandma, the mom, the daughter, now their kids, and seeing how these products have really helped them through time. And some of them honestly look the same as today as they did like 20 years ago, because they've been so good about our skincare, you know, which is amazing.
It is amazing.
And so, yeah, I have a lot of pride about it. It's a great brand. And then now my daughters work for me. My oldest is my social media manager. My youngest does customer care for us. So it's fun to have that all in the family, you know?
It's a whole family affair. And I think it's so incredible that you guys have actually taken what your clientele has told you, and I assume because you always go to your esthetician, you're like, why is this happening to my face?
Yeah.
And you have to be the solution thinker. So helping them throughout the decades with their skin and their problems, but not only just them individually, but also now they're not the only ones who are dealing with this. So creating products and a brand that can continue on and help more people instead of just one-on-one. I think that's really special that you took your clients' needs and concerns into your own hands.
Yeah, it's been really rewarding, and it still is every day. I love what I do and love being able to provide people with something that actually works, because there is a lot of product out there that is just a pretty bottle with, you know, not great ingredients in there. And it's unfortunate because people spend a lot of money on it and then they're seeking something that will actually help them, you know? So it's nice to actually be able to provide that to people.
And knowing that it started with a chemist. I mean, it literally started the formulation.
We still use the same lab today. And they've grown to be a huge lab, and they were tiny back then. So it has been really cool to see the evolution of all of it.
And I got to ask, for maybe someone who is listening, who are these products for? And can you dive into your products a little more?
Yes. So they're definitely for women 35 and older who are dealing with, you know, wanting to slow down the aging process, maybe correct it, prevent it, both of those. And definitely hormonal breakouts. And even if you don't get hormonal breakouts, that's okay. These products are just very clean and will help that issue. But if you don't have hormonal breakouts, then you're unaffected. But it'll definitely help, you know, repair, protect with the aging process, with pigmentation, elasticity, fine lines, all of that, so that your skin will just age slower, basically. And, you know, we're desert proven. So definitely if you live in a dry climate, or even if you don't, the aging process is like stepping into a desert climate sometimes, because you lose that moisture, you lose the hydration, your skin starts to thin, you know, it's not as resilient. So even if you live somewhere else, it's definitely effective. So yes, women over 35 are going through the aging process. That's who these products are really meant for.
Okay. Well, and we keep talking about desert climate. Why does the desert take such a toll on our skin?
Yeah, I mean, we're at a high altitude, so the air's thinner. So then it literally sucks moisture from our skin. You know, our skin is a living organ and it's full of water. When you live in a climate like ours, you lose 30% more, they call it transepidermal, the water in our skin, water loss daily than somebody that does not live in a climate like us. And so not only do we have to drink more water, but we also have to be putting in, you know, topically products that will hydrate, moisturize, all of that.
Jaws on the floor as I'm learning this. I am new here and I'm like, oh my God.
And then, you know, the sun. So the sun exposure, since we're at a high altitude, that affects us more than someone that's not. And even if you're not someone that's outdoors a lot, you know, you're still in that high altitude, thinner air, drier air, more sun. But if you are, I mean, a lot of people here are very into our beautiful landscape, right? We have these beautiful mountains and desert. So if you're out there, it's like, if you've been out there, you know, like you have to plan for that. You have to have your sunscreen. You have to be protecting yourself because the elements win against your skin every time, you know? So.
Okay. And so you guys have formulated the products to basically help your skin to survive in essentially one of the worst climates for skin.
Yeah, and they're made so that they're active. They're very active. They will work. They're a clinical grade skincare line, but they're made in a way that they won't dry you out, you know?
Okay.
So that's why I say even if you don't live in the desert, they're great because they won't dry you out and irritate your skin's barrier, which is a huge issue with aging skin. Because once you disrupt that barrier and you can't use those actives every day, then they're not working. You have to be able to be consistent and using them every single day to really move the needle when it comes to anti-aging. So we formulated them with like glycerin, and they're water-based, and they're very plumping and hydrating along with being really active.
And give us just some recap quick tips of how we can better care for our skin, especially here in Utah and in dry climates.
Yes. So some tips for you would be definitely a gentle exfoliation. And that looks like, you know, something like a physical exfoliation you can use every day when you're cleansing once a day, as well as like a mild glycolic acid, which we have in our starter bundle that will help turn your skin over so that other products can penetrate better. You want to be using a vitamin C product for sure with ascorbic acid because that'll help against the UV damage. And then you want to be repairing always. So like I was saying, the growth factors, the peptides, and like creams or serums. Again, we have that in our starter bundle. And then you want to be wearing SPF 30 every day for sure. Even if you're not outside, you're just walking to the mailbox, you're driving your car, you still want to wear an SPF 30 every single day to protect your skin.
Okay. And so where can they find you guys?
So correctiveskin.com is our website. And if you're wanting to look up any of our socials, all of them are just at Corrective Skin, every handle.
Okay, I love that. And we do this thing called the Fresh Five. So we want to get to know more about you. So TikTok or Instagram?
Ooh, Instagram.
Okay, I love it. Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
If you're going on a trip, are you a window or an aisle gal?
Oh, it depends. I'm going to say aisle because I always want to get out of there. I tend to get claustrophobic.
I feel that. Okay, what is your most used emoji?
Oh, probably the laugh cry emoji.
Oh, true. I'm always
That's just life, right? You got to laugh at life.
Okay, and lastly, what is a small thing that always makes your day a little bit better and makes you smile?
Talking to my kids. Yeah, for sure.
I love it. Well, and it's a whole family affair, so how special that you guys not only get to hang out as a family, but also work together.
Exactly.
That's so fun. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
For having me.
Absolutely, we've learned so much. And thank you guys for listening to another episode of Fresh Off the Set. Please rate, review, and subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Congrats, you made it to the end. If you want to continue to freshen up your day, you can watch us on Fresh Living every weekday on CBS Channel 2 in Utah at 1 o'clock. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel, KUTV Fresh Living, and follow us on social media. We will see you next week.